Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a very important JavaScript interview question. Can you explain how the event loop works in JavaScript? Now, don't worry. This sounds complicated, but I'm going to explain it in a very simple way. First, we need to understand something important. JavaScript runs on a single thread. That means it can do one thing at a time. So the question is, if JavaScript can only do one thing at a time, how does it handle things like setTimeout, API requests, promises, event listeners? The answer is it uses something called the event loop. Alright, let's open VS Code. Start with this simple code. When we run this, it prints first, second, third. This is simple. JavaScript executes code line by line using something called the call stack. The call stack is where functions are executed. Synchronous code always runs first. Now let's add this. Now pause the video and think. What do you think the output will be? You might expect start, timeout, end. But that's wrong. The real output is start and timeout. Why? This is where the event loop comes in. When JavaScript sees setTimeout, it doesn't execute it immediately. Instead, it sends it to the browser. After the timer finishes, it goes to something called the Macrotask Queue. setTimeout callbacks go into the Macrotask Queue, but JavaScript will only check that queue when the call stack is empty. So first start runs, then setTimeout is scheduled, then end runs. Now the call stack is empty, then the event loop pushes the timeout callback into the stack. That's why timeout runs last. Now this is where it gets interesting. Replace the code with this. Now what do you think happens? Start, end, promise, timeout. Wait, why did the promise run before setTimeout, even though the timeout was 0? Because there are two main queues. Microtask Queue for promises, Macrotask Queue for setTimeout. And here is the important rule. The event loop always runs all microtasks first before running any macrotasks. So the order is call stack, microtasks, macrotasks. What's why promise callbacks run before setTimeout, even if the timeout is 0. If you want to explain this clearly in an interview, you can say JavaScript is single-threaded, so it uses the event loop to handle asynchronous tasks. Synchronous code runs in the call stack first, async callbacks go into queues, promises go into the Microtask queue, and setTimeout goes into the Macrotask queue. The event loop always executes microtasks before macrotasks. Clean, structured, professional. Alright, that's it for this video. This is one of those topics that interviewers love, because it shows if you really understand how JavaScript works under the hood. If this helped you, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.